Okay, let's start about the SSRS reports development. Before going to the development, let's see what is a SSRS report. Um, Let me take a notepad or pen. SSRS report is nothing but a text file. Let's say this is our SSRS report. This will have nothing but two items. One is format and another one is data. You know about any report. If you take any report, not only SSRS, it's a collection of these two, format and data. People will format the report first thing and the data will be pulled and placed into the formatted file. And the extension of SSRS reports is .rdl. The full form of RDL is report definition language, and this RDL file will have this format defined, and data will be pulled from the database. And this database can be anything like SQL Server, Oracle, or data warehouse, or OLAP. That is the output of the SSRS solution, and also we call it as a Cube database. Now, let's see what kind of reports we can develop and how to develop different kinds of reports. Let me close this one and let me start with the SSRS report development. Before starting the SSRS development, as discussed in last class, we have to check whether the service is running or not. Configuration tools, SQL Server configuration manager. And here you can see the service for reporting services, and it is running. So we are good. For creating new SSRS report, you have to go to builds. That is the framework provided by Microsoft to develop all types of business intelligence solutions like SSIS solution, SSAS solution, and SSRS solution. And as we discussed in last class, SSIS solution is for moving the data from different sources to one destination or multiple destinations, and SSAS is to convert the data from OLTP to OLAP, that is two-dimensional to multi-dimensional, and SSRS reports is to generate user-friendly reports. SSRS applications. This is the framework, SQL Server Business Intelligence Development Studio. In short, it is BITS, BITS. People refer it with short name always. So this is the framework for developing all these all kinds of business intelligence projects. If you develop any project in either SSIS or SSAS and SSRS earlier in this mission, then those projects will be available here on the left hand side. Here you can see recent projects under recent projects tab. You can select, and if you select any one item from here, it will take you to that particular project. Now, let's say we're creating the report for first time. Sorry, we're creating the solution for first time in this. Then all these projects will not be available here, and we have to go here to start a new solution. Solution is nothing but a container which holds the project. Now you have to go to File, another new, another project. When you select this here, you can see different kinds of templates or different kinds of projects that you can create using this BITS framework. One is analysis service project. This is for SSRS, and import analysis services 2008 database. This is for SSRS reverse process. Let's say you don't have anything. You can create a project and deploy the database using this first project, first type of project. And the second one, let's say you have a analysis service database, then you can convert it into solution. For that, we will use import analysis service 2008 database, and this is very rarely used. Integration services connections project and integration services projects is for SSIS projects, and the remaining three is for SSRS projects. Let's see one by one. Report model we will use for creating ad hoc reports, and we'll take it at the end. Let's discuss about report server project wizard and report server project first. Report server project wizard. This type of projects is used to develop SSRS reports using wizards. Everything will be in wizard. At the start of the wizard, you have to select the connection, and at the end of the wizard, when you click on finish, a report will be created. Let's see how to create report using wizard. And this is not the ideal way of creating SSRS reports. The best way is to use report server project. But let's see this option. Let's cover this one too to know how to create projects SSRS reports using report server project. First, you have to give some name. Whenever you are creating any application, any project, try to give some valid name. This is not a valid name what I'm gonna give, but it's a good practice to give a valid name, or else you will give similar kind of names when you are working in projects, real projects. So better give valid name always. And this is the location where the solution has to be created. So you can change this location always. You can set it to something else. Let me set it to desktop itself. So now the solution will be created in the desktop. And what's the solution? You can give anything. Let me give first report. Now, once I clicked on OK, the report wizard is open. If you see the information given in this report wizard first page, the report wizard helps you to create a report. With this wizard, you can, first thing, one by one, he has explained here, select the data source from which to retrieve the data. As I told you, a report contains format and data. Data will come from data source, and we need a connection to tell the server from which it has to pull the data. And this is the first step. And second thing is design a query. Okay, I will set the connection to the database, but which query has to be executed to pull the data, to pull the records that needs to be displayed in the report format. And the third thing is what type of report you want. There are different templates available in SSRS reports. We can choose one. And fourth one is layout. What kind of design, whether it's a matrix or tabular format and all. Fifth one is formatting options. You can format the report. Let's see one by one. And if you don't want to show this page, just click on this. And if you don't want to show this page next time, then click on this and continue. Shared data source is the one which is created once and will be used again and again. As this is wizard and this is the first report we are creating, there will not be any data source created, and hence this is disabled. Now I am selecting new database. I'm giving a name, Adventure Works, as I'm pointing to Adventure Works database. Before going to that, let's have a small discussion about data source. Data source is very important for any application, any BA application or any front-end applications. Let's take all three different BA tools we have. One is SSRS. SSIS will move data from one source to another, one database to another database. So this data source is the place where the connection information will be stored. Database connectivity. It has to set the connection to the source. So there it will have the connection. And if you take SSRS, the data will be converted from OLTP to OLAP, and we need to set the connection to the OLTP as that is the base on which we're creating SSAS cube solution. In the same way, SSRS reports, we need to set the connection from where we have to pull the data. So data source is the one which sets the connection. And if you have experience in creating front-end applications using different languages, then we create connection strings to modify the data in the database, either update or insert or delete or select the data from the database. So for making any interactions with the database, we have to set the connection string, and we are calling it as data source here in SSRS. And this is the types of databases, database servers you can connect. So LADB you can connect to maximum database using this, and this is Oracle provider, this is analysis provider, which is used to connect to SSAS cube database. And this is report server model. This is another one. We'll discuss about this in next classes. And this is Teradata. Like that, if you see, you have almost all kinds of connectivity. You can connect to almost all kinds of databases here. And here in this case, our database is SQL Server, and then I'm selecting this Microsoft SQL Server. And click on Edit to provide the server details. As my database is in my local server, I can use either localhost or server name or simply dot. Dot means localhost. It will point to the local server. And there is no authentication for the local database. Authentication is to authenticate whether the user is valid one or not. Generally, it will be either Windows or SQL Server or both. What it is, I mean, we have to give this information while installing the SQL Server. If you give mixed mode authentication, then it will ask for password. In that case, either you can select Windows authentication or SQL Server authentication, and by selecting this, you have to provide the username and password. Username will be SA always, and the password is what you will give at the time of what you have given at the time of installation. I have not given the SQL Server authentication, so I am selecting this Windows authentication, and here I can select the database. Let's say the Adventure Works is my database warehouse from where I am pulling the data. This option is to test whether the properties, whether the options, whether the values I've given for the server name and the database is correct or not. There is one more option, attach a database file in case you don't have SQL Server installed in your machine. If you see the services, you have integration services, analysis services, reporting services, all three, and SQL Server service. SQL Server service is for query analyzer. If you want to connect to the databases and see how and to query the data, then the service should be running. So, in few cases, people will install only SSRS or only SSIS or only SSIS, and SSRS, but they don't install SQL Server. In that case, if you want to connect to the database, you will get MDF files and LDF files from the client to access the data. So in that case, you can go to that MDF file and you can select that MDF file and LDF file, so that without having SQL Server installed in your machine, you can use the database. Let's see. I don't have access. I don't have MDF files here now. So this is just an option in case when you don't have SQL Server installed in your machine, you can make use of this. If you point to .mdf and .ldf files, then you can access it just like accessing. You can access the data from it just like accessing the data from database. Now let me test it. This is fine. Now the connection string is created. In other words, data source is created. And there is an option, make this as the shared data source, which means this data source connection will not be specifically for this report. It will be shared one. You can use this data source in another SSRS reports. For example, if I create one more report using Wizard, then I can select this option, the top one, which is disabled now, shared data source, and select it as my connection string. So this connection string I can use again and again for creating different reports. And this is the ideal way of creating the data source. Why? Because it's not like one report you will generate based on the data from a database. It will be like many reports will be generated pointing to pulling the data from the same database. So it's better to have a single shared connection and use that connection and again to avoid the recreation of the same connection for each report. Now click on next. This is the query builder. So this helps in querying the data. What data you want to query and how to. You can click on this query builder query designer option, and here you can add the tables and you can generate the query using Wizard. Let's say I want to see the customers information. I'm selecting all the columns, and if you want to run it and see whether the data is proper or not, you can use this button. And these are the different panes. If you want to hide any pane, then you can select this. Okay, we select this. The SQL query of the same will be enabled and will be visible. And if you click on this, the resultant window. This is the resultant window will be visible. And if you want to add more tables, you can use this. Now the query is created, a simple query. Select star from dim customer, so which pulls the data from dim customer table. And you can add a couple of tables using joins and all. It depends on your requirements. Let's start with a simple report development. Next, this is the report type. What type of report I want to show? There are two options. One is tabular and another one is matrix. Tabular format is just rows and columns, and this is the matrix format. You can have a group by column and group by row. I'll show the example for both. Let's go with tabular format first. Click on it. Now it is asking for what's the page, what's the group, what's the details. And the details means what's the value that you want to show. In other words, what the metrics you want to show. Generally, report will have two things. One is textual information and another one is metric. For example, employee name, department, basic, number of leaves taken. So the last one is metric information. is telling about the number of leaves taken. Metric information, in other words, is integer or decimal values, um, which will be considered to find out the performance of a particular person or particular player or particular business. If it is a product, retail business, then product name will be the textual information and the sales will be the metric information. Sales amount and tax amount and all. Now in this example, let's say employee name is Rupesh, department is IT, designation is EL, and number of leaves taken is 2. So in the detail section, this information will come, and let me select the same now. Let's say I don't have anything like that. So let me select first name, middle name, last name, status, don't want suffix, I want gender, and then what is guys phone and address. So as this is table format, you will have only details. Details means nothing but columns. Select star from employee, that's it. If it is matrix format, I will show you it will have rows and columns and these details which is different. Rows and columns will be textual information and details will be the measure information. And when we discuss about the matrix format, I will show you that example. Now I selected the details, and if I want to group by something, I can select the item under group. Let's say, for example, I want to select group by number of children. All the customers with one child will be grouped into one category. All the customers with two child will be grouped into second category. In the same way, page, if I select anything, let's say I'm selecting title. If the customer title is Mr., then all those guys will be listed into one page or couple of pages if the data is used. Let me remove this now, and sorry. Let me show you first this example, like with one group and different details. Now, how you want to show, whether it's a step format or block format. This is the block format you can see on the right hand side, and this is step format, that is without having blocks. Include subtotals is an option. You can include, and enable drill down is an option. If you want, you can include. Drill down means I will show you an example what is drill down. When you have a plus icon, and if you click on that, it will drill down and show you the next level of values. In SQL Server databases, I'm showing this one as an example. You have many places where we're using drill down. This is drill down. This is the databases tab. When I drill down that, it is gonna give me what are all the databases available under that. This kind of format is called drill down format. And let me add these two in next report design. And this is the style, table style. What style you want to, these different colors and all. You can select any color, and this is the standard color people prefer, and where the report has to be deployed. This is the report server, find and deployment folder. Let it be my first report. In this server, in this folder, the report will be deployed. If you want to preview this report, you can click on this, or you can see the preview anytime, so no issue. Sorry. Now the report is created, grouped by children. This is what I have given, And the name of the report I have given is first report, and these are all the detailed columns I selected. And if you want to increase the size, you can do it here, like dragging and dropping by selecting on the brown color column header. And now let's see the preview. Preview means how the report looks when you run it. When you click on the preview tab here, then it will show you the preview. One second, data source is missing, so let me create that. Okay. Dot adventure work DW. Expansion detected. Okay. Okay, that might be the problem. I've given space, and that's why the shared data source is not created there. And here, let me select this. Now everything looks fine. Okay. Now, I created a shared data source with the name Adventure Space Works. Actually, it allows space, and that's why the shared data source is not created, and hence the data source for this particular report. Now, this is the report. Children, I asked the server to group the data based on total children. So this is the list of customers with 0 children. Okay, and if you go further, there are some with 0 children. Let me go to the last and come back. 331 pages of data. That must be. So better. I can't search about the remaining children here. So better I export the data into a file and check the same. Now, the best advantage of this SSRS reports is you can easily export the data and save it in different formats. You can see the formats here into which the data can be exported. These are the maximum formats that clients will ask for. Let me export this data into an Excel. Just select that Excel and it will do the business. It will export the data. What you have to give is you have to give the name and the data will be. Let the report, file name be first report. Click on save. You can see the file created. And it is 331 pages in SSRS report. And so the file size is also huge. It's 2.85 MB. Let me open this. This is the guys with 0. And then yeah, here it is. This is the, from here, these are the customers with having children, three people with 3. And it will group based on the children count as we have defined in the SSRS report definition. This is as simple as this, creating an SSRS report using Wizard and exporting it into different formats. Now let's see, we selected so many things and the report is created and where everything is, where all the options are available. First thing we created is the data source and we marked it as shared data source. The data source will be created here with the connection string what we have given there. Okay, and while designing this source, I created this data source and I marked it as shared data source. So the data source will be created under the shared data source folder, and the same reference will be used in the local data source. Even though there is a shared data source, you have to specify in your local report which database has to be used. Okay. Let's say I have 10 shared data source. So for each and every report, again I have to inform the server, okay, take the data source 1 under the shared data sources to pull the data, to execute the query what I'm going to give you. So for that, I have to create a data source, and I've taken that option, I've used that option, use shared data source reference, and I selected that adventure works from the shared data source. Let's say I have one more data source with the name data source 1, and I'm pointing to some, let's say the same data. Now for this report, we have to specify which shared data source it has to use, data source 1 or adventure works. So this option is mandatory for every report. There may be many shared data sources, and there may be data sources that are particularly defined for a report at report level. If you are using shared data source, you have to use this option, use shared data source, and provide the shared data source name. And if you want to embed a connection in the same report, then you have to come here and select the connection string here. So this data source what you are going to create or define here will not be created under the shared data source, so that other reports can use the same. There's a difference between shared data source and embedded connection. And we selected a table. Select star from dim customer. That is my data set. So report data will be in a data set format. Data set is the collection of columns. So these are my columns from the database table that I've given while creating the report. I use the simple data set, that is select star from dim customer. So data set is nothing but the data that is pulled from database to make using SSRS report. Okay. This data set contains fields which are nothing but the columns from the database. And this is the layout what we have selected, tabular layout. And this is that one, tabular layout. And this colors is the style we selected. And these columns, first name, middle name, last name, and so on, are the columns we selected, that is details we selected. And we selected one group item, that is total children. So you can see the total children group item here. The row groups will be listed in the bottom left hand side. Okay, this is what we created using SSRS wizard. Now let me create a new one. Now the shared data source is enabled, and it is displaying what are all the shared data sources available. I selected adventure works, or if I want to create a new data source which is embedded for this report, let me try that. I'm creating a new data source which will be embedded in this particular report, and it will not be visible for other reports. Let me take the connection string, pointing it to cricket. I have a cricket database. Text connection fine. I'm not making it as shared data source. This is embedded for this report. Next, query builder, or you can directly write the query here. I know some couple of tables here. Select star from players, and I'm selecting tabular format. Now the details, what I want to show. I want to show player name, player bat type, bowling type, whether it is a left hand bowler or right hand bowler, ball subtype, and I want to group by player specialization. Next, let it be block this time. Let it be slate format. I'm giving to get test as the report name. Now everything is created. Let's see. This guy is all-rounder list, and this is batsman list, and next is bowler list. It is grouped by the player specialization, and this is block format, and this is the player name what I have given. Batsman type is right hand batsman or left hand batsman, and bowler type is right hand or left hand, and bowl subtype whether it is a fast, medium, or spin or something else. And the main thing what we have to look into is that shared data source is not created here, and this data source is an embedded one. So this is particular to this SSRS report. This is how you can create a data source that is embedded, that is defined only for the particular report. Now let's go back to the first example. I'm using the Adventure Work shared data source. I'm going to the query builder, taking the customers table again. Oops, not selected it. I'm not selected the columns. Next, I'm going with tabular format. This is not the table. Dim customer is the table. So let me remove it. Right click and remove, and select the correct dim customer is the table. I'm selecting all columns here. Next, map tabular format. Now I'm taking first name, middle name, last name, and I want this gender group by. I want to group by gender, whether male people under one, male customers under one group, and female customers under another group. And I want to group total child. Sorry, not total child. I want to give title as page, which means Mr. will be fall in one or more pages, and then the other styles. Titles. Let's see this. Block or step, let it be step, and enable drill down, and let's include subtotals. And this time I'll go with forest style. With the drill down short form. So now the title wise page wise is title, and the group by gender, and always you can increase the size. I've selected only these 3 columns, and let me see the preview. When you select the option drill down, then it will take more time. See, it is drill down option. I asked it to group by gender, that is female and male. When I click on female, it is processing. I clicked on. You can see the scroll bar here on the right hand side. The report is rendering, it is expanding and it is trying to take. The scroll bar size is too small, and still it is taking time to display the data. This is pretty big report, right? I should have done something else. I will do one thing. I will limit the number of rows. Now there are so many 330 pages of data is coming, right? So let me limit it by putting only top 1000 records or top 500 records from database. And this is my data set, that is select star from limiters and so on. So select top, let me go with 500 records. Now let me click on female. It is showing all the data. And then if I click on male, this is the data. But I wonder why the title is not coming. I guess it is empty. So let us see whether the title is having value or not. I need to call. See, the title is empty, and that's why it is grouping like this. It has only one group, that is blank group. Page wise, I asked it to group by title, and this title is all empty. That's what it's done. Better if you group by middle name instead of title. If you take middle name, then you will get different pages like this. These types of customers. This is the group with V. I can show that some other groups are. One second, it is not correctly. One second, guys. Let me create a report. Taking the customer table. On the columns. And I'm limiting it to top 1000. Next, table fine. Let me take first name, middle name, last name, group by general, and page by middle name. This is what we try to do there. Step enable drill down, and you can include the totals. There is nothing to show the totals here. No metric information to show the totals. Let it be report 1. It has to come name wise. These are the guys with blank initial, middle name. And these are the guys, these should be the guys with middle name A. To confirm that, let's drag that middle name into the row here. These are the guys with middle name blank. And if you go to the next page, you can see it's grouped page wise who has middle name A. And if you go to the third, it's A dot. Only one guy is there. And these are the guys with B. So this is how a report can be generated with page groups and groups and detailed information with shared data sources and embedded data sources. Now if you see, the report is generated and the look and feel is too good, and we have done it in less than 2 minutes. So this is as simple as this, generating reports in SSRS using SSRS wizard. But people don't prefer SSRS wizard. Why? Because till 2005 version, people stop using for latest versions. If you create a report using wizard, and if you click on if you edit the report, if you edit the same report which is created using the wizard, like changing the groups or changing the columns and all, it was throwing exception. So that's why till 2005 people didn't prefer to use this wizard to create SSRS reports. And this is not a best practice, and it's always best practice to write your own data sets where you can hide these columns. I mean, you can pull the required number of columns and you can design your layout properly and set the colors and all. So the best option is always to create a report using uh, report server project rather than wizard project. Okay, now this is the data set and this is the data source connection for this report server project report, and this is the details we selected and this is the group. Let's say this is closed, where to see the data. The columns information, the fields information is in that particular panel, so where to see that? You have to go here, click on this, view, and you can see the report data here. If I click here and if I click on view, you can get this report data option. You can select this and under that you can see what are all the columns that are available and can be used in your report. Okay, and you have one more option, that is toolbox, where you will have table format, matrix format, rectangle, and all to create new templates. This is a rectangular one, right? Sorry, let me remove this. Sorry, this is table format. Now, if you want to create a report using matrix format, you can select this option. Now, this is about SSRS report wizard. And let me remind you once again about this embedded source connection and use data source connection. Use shared data source. Shared data source is created once and will be used many times in different in reports. And embedded connection is particular to that report. This is very important. Now let's go to the next one, matrix format. I'm using the shared connection again. This time I'm writing bigger query. I want to see customer wise better. Let me take product wise, category and subcategory, and fact internet sales. Fact internet sales is my fact table where I have metric information or the sales and all. I don't want customer here, so I want these three. And from product, I want English product name, which holds the product name in English language and color of the product. And product subcategory is the parent of product. So, I mean, a subcategory will have different products. English product subcategory name from here and English product category name from here. And here I want to take the unit price, extended amount, order quantity, discount amount, total product cost, and tax amount. Okay, my query is ready. I've done nothing. Let me explain you in database to avoid confusion. Select star from dim product. This product table will have product information like English product name and all. And it also have product subcategory key, to which subcategory this particular product belongs to. Now let's see what is this subcategory holds. This table will have the subcategory information, subcategory name, and product category. Product category key, to which category this particular subcategory belongs. So let me see what this category table is having. This category will have what are all the categories. So bikes, components, clothing, and accessories. So under each category there will be some subcategory items, and under each subcategory item there will be some products, and those products will be linked to the fact information. The hierarchy flows like this. On top category, one category will have many subcategories, and each subcategory will have many products, and each product will be pointing to fact data. Let's say product Lidl, soap Lidl sales will be there. Many sales will be there. Many records will be there for Lidl soap sales. Why? Because so many customers might have bought that. So like that, this is our final transaction data. One to many, one to many, one to many, and one to many. Okay, now I have written a query to fetch this data. And let me run that query in query window and show you that. This is the final query. And if I run this here, better format it in order. I'm taking subcategory second and category first. Now if I execute this, under bikes we have mountain bikes, road bikes, and road bikes again, mountain bikes, mountain bikes, mountain bikes also. Under mountain bikes we have mountain bikes 100 silver 44, mountain bike 100, this color is silver. Why we have different records for the same data? This and this is same. Why? Because the sales is there. Total product cost is 1912. If a product is sold many times, that 100 times, that many records will be there in our transaction table. So this is the output of the query. Now let's continue here. Click on next. Let's see what the matrix format is. Matrix format consists of details, rows, and columns. We have only one grouping, that is row grouping in the earlier case, which means grouping in the sense grouping by the data row wise. See here that it is grouping based on total children. If you see on the bottom left where my mouse is, where my cursor is moving, so this is row group, grouping by total. Let's see the thing here. Details means what details I want to see. I want to see unit price, extended amount, quantity, discount amount, total product cost, sales amount, and tax amount. What are your rows? Rows means the one what we are going to show on the left hand side. English product name, product subcategory, and product category, and this should be in order. So better to move this up, and this one. Oops. Go on to the next one. And column group, I want to group by color. And I'm clicking the option enable drill down here. Next, this is the different colors. Let me select the green. Next, first matrix. Finish. See, column grouping by color here, and this is the column grouping, and this is the row grouping. Row grouping, I have three things, that is product subcategory, product category, and product name. I know this name is not, the size is not enough for categories and subcategories and even for products, so I'm increasing it. Extended unit price I'm increasing to get better look and feel. Extended amount, order quantity, discount amount, total product cost, sales amount, and tax amount. Okay, now let me see the preview. It will take time. It has row groups and column groups, and it has to format in the way what we have defined. This is a simple data set and still it has taken time. Why? Because it has to format in different way. Now let's see what it written. This is I've given column group color. So black wise it grouped all the values unit price, extended amount, order quantity, discount amount, or all. Then blue color and then multicolor and then the color name given as NA and then the name given as red, then given as silver. So it's based on the color column group. And the row group we have given as access. First thing is category. So category wise it summed up and showed this is the accessories. Category wise black color unit price. Category wise black color extended amount. In the same way, category wise here you can see multicolor unit price is this much. Multicolor extended amount is this much. So it groups in both the columns and row wise. Now when I drill down it, it will give the next level, that is subcategory. This category has these subcategories: bike racks, bike stands and so on. Under these bikes we have mountain bikes, road bikes and touring bikes, and under clothing we have these caps and all. And immediately it is splitting up the detailed information. And now when you click on this, it is going to give you the product level information. These are all the products that belong to these subcategories. So this is how it splits and gives the information. Row grouping and column grouping. Matrix format support row grouping and column grouping, and this is the detailed information how we can see based on different groups. Now let me export this into X format. Desktop first matrix XLS. Let me show you this. See the report. Here you can see the plus, that is the grouping. You can hide and see, just like what we have shown in SSRS report. See, to be frank, this is very good, neat and clean report, which we developed in less than 2 minutes or so max. So SSRS helps us in creating rich reports in less time. You can drill down or you can drill up. This is how you can create matrix reports, and this is the difference between matrix reports and tabular format. And tabular format will have only details and the group of row wise, whereas this matrix will have row wise and column wise grouping. And this grouping is very, very important. And apart from that, remaining things will remain the same in matrix and tabular. The remaining things in the sense that connection properties like embedded connection you can give or shared connection, and the data set will remain the same, and the report layouts, whether it's a tabular or that one will change is tabular or matrix. So this is about creating tabular form different reports, that is tabular and matrix formats using report server wizard. And in next class, let's see how to create reports using report server project without using wizards.